don't understand why you wouldn't want a woman like me. I am successful, I'm rich, I can fight.
I get that.
I will say it, I love men,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
But I don't love a stupid man. If you can't be with my peace, you can be with the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're in your masculine area. Well, why don't you get in yours? I'm sick of men telling me, oh, well, you know, you hardcore. Yes, I am. I am.
Can you handle it?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
what you bringing to the table? I am the table.
My mind's telling me no.
This is Leslie Jones on the Kelly Clarkson Show. You heard what she said. You heard what she said, man. I know she's a comedian, and I would like to point out that before I say what I say, that she made an entire career about her being a masculine, ugly ass woman. Okay, she did that to herself. She objectified herself negatively in that manner and shit. Okay, I don't find her appealing. I hate her big shovel mouth. I hate her in your face attitude, which unfortunately for me, I've experienced that in real life a bunch of times with women just getting out of pocket with me. You know, busted chicks that even my non-select ass wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole or much less any other part of my anatomy. You know, I don't want to be with someone like this. I don't want to be like a bruh man and shit. Okay, that's BRUH hyphen MA apostrophe MA AM. Bruh ma'am, a dude chick. I don't want to be any kind of dude chick and shit. You know, I've been with some masculine ass women and shit before. They clean my pipes expertly and shit, but I don't want to be with them. I don't want to build nothing with them. I don't want to. I don't want to see that shit when I come home. All right, I don't want to see a Leslie Jones in my personal space. We could be cool and everything, but like, I don't want to fuck with her. Okay, you know, a couple of episodes ago, we had this woman up here talking about, you know, men, the clearance bin of men and shit. If there's a clearance bin of men, logically speaking, here or in some other reality, there's a clearance bin of these black women. And Leslie Jones is she's a standard bearer for that shit. Cause she just stay on her shit. You know, she need to go and chill the fuck out and just be quiet. She can get somebody, it just ain't gonna be me or any other motherfucker they can see. Okay? She made a whole career about her unattractiveness, and then she sit up and cry because she can't find anybody and shit, and she got money and stuff. Okay, but she don't have enough money apparently because she's sitting up here with Kelly Clarkson, whose eyebrows are wicked as fuck, and she need them shits plucked. You know, just a little beauty regimen and shit there. You know, I'm an equal opportunity offender and shit, but like I don't want to fuck Leslie Jones. Nobody. A lot of majority of people don't want to fuck her, and I've seen pictures of her with no clothes on. Okay, she was hit up in that fappening thing years ago, and I had the misfortune of seeing pictures of her with no clothes on, and I thought that she could make a nice bust down for somebody if only she were willing to put a bag on her head with no holes in it, not even eye holes or mouth holes or nothing. Okay, that women are not shy about telling us how unappealing we are, how creepy we are, you know, about the male gaze, all this bullshit. And I gotta listen to Leslie Jones crying bitch about why she can't get some dick. It's beyond me. Okay? Nobody wanna fuck your ass. You cannot shame me into doing that shit. I had bitches try some crazy shit with me. Okay, and I've been fucked up and had two ships docking in the night with a motherfucking shit. And I can tell you honestly, I was looking at the back of that chick's head and shit. I didn't see the front of her face. We wasn't making no sweet love. I wasn't doing it missionary under the covers, all hooked up with our arms and shit wrapped around each other. We wasn't doing. She was looking at the headboard, going donk a donk donk on that fuck. Her head was tapping that bitch rhythmically and shit. Okay, they put a beat to that and release a diss track. Okay, shit was fucked up. Okay, I don't want to see. There's too many bruh ma'am chicks out there, and I don't want it. Okay, you go find the niggas, the homosexuals, the motherfuckers just got out of jail, all them. Those the dudes you fuck. Okay, the unks and shit that need some shit, go help them out. You could tell them all your feelings and all that bullshit, and they'll listen to you because they want some money and some pussy, and they don't care what's around it. To get in where you fit in, guys. That's a Too Short quote. He's the one started this get in where you fit in and shit. The wrong kind of thinking for me, especially in 2025. And I ain't gonna tell nobody else. At least all one kid I'm raising and anybody else I can have influence over. The fuck with one of these masculine busted ass chicks. With these lunch lady arms. Her arms, from the shoulder down, that look like a leg on a midget and shit. That's like a thigh. That's a ethnic fat ass thigh and shit. And the elbow is the knee, and it's just a calf instead of like a forearm and shit. And then a hand coming out of that bitch like a chicken leg. Alright? I don't want to fuck with Leslie Jones. I'm tired of seeing this motherfucker talking shit. Like, hey, you ugly motherfucker. Okay? I don't give a fuck. Standards and practices be damned and shit. If they gonna fuck with me, man, I need to get me they gonna catch a fucking case on this platform and other ones that don't want to hear this shit. But they let these women sit up here and bitch every day and talk about us like dogs. Okay, and I'm tired of you motherfuckers out here that keep putting these misandrous, these chameleon bitches on your page and shit like she doing something. Alright, this won't be Leslie Jones, obviously, but she asked the question. And then she had nerve to bring up the table. No one's asking you to come to that metaphorical table. If I go to the table and see you near that bitch, loitering around like you're gonna come to the table, I'm gonna, the nicest I'll be is I'm gonna pull out some kind of spray and a paper towel and start wiping the top of that bitch out and then act like I was just there to clean that bitch and blown out. I'm gonna run out of that motherfucker. You gonna be chasing me. She always gonna be chasing some niggas she wanna fuck like the T-1000 chasing that little kid in that movie and shit. She gonna be running after niggas like that shit. Cause ain't nobody trying to fuck with her unless they need some money or a place to stay and shit, okay? She need to go hit up the homeless shelters and shit or, go write some niggas in jail and shit, send some pictures of your ass and set without the head on it. Cause I seen her with no clothes on and shit. She was in shape, but it wasn't nothing like, I'm like, damn, now get a motherfucker, get some, get a BBL or something, get something, motherfucker, you look fucked up. Why y'all never try to fix that fucked up head she got? And she talk too much shit. Be fucked up. She could actually, if she had a personality, if she had an actual personality and something to talk about, she could get past her looks. Okay, I'm gonna be honest about that. Ain't no total dick or nothing, but I'm tired of looking at Leslie Jones motherfucking ass bitching about stuff. She's sitting over here Kelly Clarkson and shit. Kelly Clarkson used to be attractive and shit, kinda. And then now she got savage eyebrows. She almost got one eyebrow sitting up there. And she paid her, she had a homosexual and shit. And she was mad bitching about that. Made a really catchy tune about a homosexual dude she was married to. Alright? Pretty cool song. Leslie Jones, man, you in the wrong spaces, okay? You need to get the fuck out of here. Why can't you be gay? Just be gay, okay? Go hook up with a stud. Why don't you catch a stud? They wear them straps and stuff. It's almost like the real thing and shit. And you get your shit pounded out. Both y'all can lay up and shit with y'all boxer shorts, and y'all can tap out, and the other bitch can put this. Y'all can watch some of that Pinky Triple X shit. Fucking emulate what you see and shit, and call it a day. Hey, man, go to the alternative community, okay? Don't be straight, okay? Don't be straight. You got a fucked up face. They say the face only a mother could love. The face only a motherfucking homosexual could love and shit. Okay? I don't want to be like this, but I'm returning that same energy. She always talking about why somebody want to be with her and what she want to accept and shit. I'm like, who's talking to you? And now she's getting up in there. She got that double chin and shit. She said, fuck the gym. She got that, she built like a fucking a hot pocket and shit with arms and legs on it. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? What is there for me to see there? Yeah, you was on TV and you was in some fucking movies that people hate. All your movies. Even she was in the remake of Coming to America and she had a kid with Eddie Murphy in a movie. I cannot believe that. That's too much fantasy. But she had a kid with Eddie Murphy. And even in that narrative, she had taken advantage. She had drugged him and had her way with him. It's pretty fucked up, man. The shit they do. Man, if there's a Clarence Bent or men, according to that Audacity podcast, then this motherfucker is the gold standard for the Clarence Bent of women and shit. Celebrity or no celebrity. No amount of money she has or anything will sway me and shit. I'm not in need like that and shit. I mean, she could spike my shit with nuclear Viagra and she still ain't getting laid. I'm not hitting that shit, man. It's a right hand situation. You know, I don't want to go hard in the pain. I'm mad, I'm laughing. I'm mad, I'm laughing. I want to say this shit serious with my whole chest and shit. Because, like, I grew up non-select. People used to tell me some bullshit. I know I say that a lot, but, like, I'm being honest and shit. These motherfuckers used to be telling me that. And I just, you know, my adult life, I wonder why I had such a body count. Not bragging or nothing. I'm not wondering why I got laid a bunch of times. And sometimes when I was with a sister, they had a chip on their shoulder. Like, they did something because they slept with me or something. They're like, yeah, now I got you. You know? I done had been attacked. Me and my then wife were been attacked several times with sisters and shit. We just going about our business. Bitches roll up and shit. Like a gang style. Like an 80s villain in a teenage movie and shit. Accosted me and my wife and shit. You know? And I just hate it. And I'm not tripping this shit. You know, I'm a open-minded person and everything. I've been with some women that were not, you know, very attractive, but they had other attributes, if you get my drift. Yet I saw 50 use and shit. I didn't want to be in a transactional, non-organic relationship, but what can I do with what was presented to me at the time and shit? Didn't have the resources, mindset that I have now and shit, and I would definitely have never done that, okay? I never wanted to have the number of experiences that I have today, okay? And you know, in my bumper. You know, I don't want to have that. I never wanted to have that. I only wanted to be with the first person I was ever with and shit. Have a family and children and shit. Be stable and all that bullshit, you know. And, yeah, things are what they are, right? But even that, right? Even back in the day, I had some bum chicks coming up to me talking like that. The second woman that I ever was talking to, like when I was like between 18 and 19, and I went into college for orientation, and I met a person that I was with, and this other chick, kind of chubby, kind of, you know, cute bitch. She started the conversation about how she was gonna be in charge of me, and she, you know, if we were in a relationship, she would be in charge of me, and all this kind of shit. She was picking her spot, but she didn't know who the fuck I was. I'm like, you know, I trolled everybody in my life. I'm gonna troll your fucking ass too. I would just sit and listen to her. And she realized I wasn't even looking at her. She didn't get the memo until she invited me out to lunch, right? Because she knew she was really non-select. She invited me out to lunch, and no, I'm not shitting on her for that. She has some tingle bitties. I'm not shitting on her that, but she invited me out to lunch, and the other person that was originally there decided to show up and shove a chair down in between us and plant her yellow ass on that chair. And I never saw that woman again after that day and shit. So she knew her lane and stayed in it and shit. Maybe if it were actually for the best, I should have went with that. The chick that, you know, the bust down. You know, I should went with the bitch talking crazy instead of the motherfucker I ended up with. But, you know, it is what it is, right? That being said, Leslie Jones, okay? You are annoying, alright? You are an annoying middle-aged woman with no looks, okay? Maybe some change in your pocket that I really don't care about and I don't have any use for shit, especially at my fucking age. And the young Pookie is not gonna hook up with you unless you pay him. You gonna pay him well for that dick, okay? And you ain't gonna see his face and y'all ain't gonna be kissing or nothing. He gonna beat up your shit, and then he gonna lay on your couch and play PlayStation 5 that you buy him and shit, and wear Jordans you buy him or Air Max with fuck that shit. And he gonna stay in your crib until you get tired of looking at him. You gonna put him out, and he gonna fuck your shit up and still drive off in your car. And when you find your shit after the police get their shit back, it's gonna be on some bricks with the catalytic converter missing. I'm tired of these women talking shit. I make it a point to return that same motherfucking energy. Shadow band be damned. Because I be the Shadow Band clan, one of the elders in that bitch. Shout out to Bunker TV. I'm tired of Leslie Jones, man. I'm tired of all Leslie Jones and the children of Leslie Jones fucking cavity filled teeth and shit, you know, coming up like skeletons and shit, you know, running their mouth. Right? You wanted that energy and shit. You want transactional relationships. You don't want nothing organic. You're not willing to change or at least get plastic surgery on your fucking head or some of your body parts that at least get some giant titties or something. Get something, man. You got dick all, man. So you take your ass over to the shelters or the prisons and shit, or you go to hang around some therapy groups and shit and try to catch somebody fucked up who's out of their goddamn mind, and lock them up and shit in the Iron Maiden of a toxic relationship, okay? Of a trauma bond relationship. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't know what you want and shit. And if I was an asshole and a narcissist like you, I would have my fucking way with you and shit. I have been gaslighted and fucked over by some of the best in every way humanly possible other than the physical. And you don't measure up. Okay? So you'll go get in that clearance bin, okay, Leslie?
Say, why don't you pick on somebody your own disposition?
Oh, please, Mr. Barroom Brawler. Don't hurt me or anything like that.
If you didn't want the answer, you shouldn't have asked the question.